Hello everyone, it's Sunday Fun Day today, so I hope you are all having a most fantastic day. Um, if you are getting on this on the replay, please write a word of how you're doing today and how would you describe your day. Just in one word, how would you describe your day? And so I woke up this morning and I was a bit surprised because in our bedroom we have these like F-off blinds that's just like no light whatsoever come into. And I woke up and I could see a little bit of light coming in, so we obviously hadn't closed them properly. And I was just like, what's going on here? Because usually I get a little wake up from one of my kids at around 6:15, 6:20. And I was just wondering why it was already light out. And next to me I had our little boy Winston was asleep. And I looked at the time and it was like 8:20, and I was like, whoa, I've just been asleep for over 9 hours, so I'm a little bit out of it today. But then we finally got up and had a nice breakfast, and we're away to a park, and so we had some fun there with the kids. And now we're back home here, and it's a Wednesday nap time, so that's a great time for me to get a little bit of work done. And then back with the kids this afternoon again. I love my weekends because that's when my kids are off and I get to spend a lot of time with them. But I wanted to jump into our topic today, which is all about contribution. And before that, just wanted to mention that I appreciate all of you for being on this call. Make sure you've read and comment where you're calling in from today, and also one word of how you would describe your Sunday today. And also those of you that want to have a lot of fun in May, make sure that you come along with us to Marbella. We're going to have a lot of fun down there. But what about contribution? I wanted to jump into this and how that really is something I think is a huge part of any really successful entrepreneur. I don't know if you guys follow, some of the most wealthiest people in the world. You got the Belinda Gates Foundation and you got Warren Buffett being a big part of that, and you've got Mark Zuckerberg talked a lot about giving away a huge part of what he has as well to charities and so on. And I think a huge part of very successful people is that they understand that it's so important to give back in different ways. Okay, and so one of the things that I thought of when I thought of contribution was a story really going back to first grade. I believe it was in first grade. I had this lovely teacher, Eva. In Sweden is where I started school, and in Sweden we start school when we're 7, unlike my daughter starting school now when she's 4 years old. Here she's going to start into the British system in the fall. And so but one of the things that we did as a class back then was we actually sponsored part of a rainforest in Brazil, and they would send this letter. I'm sure they sent the same letter to everybody that sponsored a part of that rainforest. But in the letter, they talked about like this name of this little snake that lived there and a few other things and so on. But that really, caught my attention to how important it is to really do something good in the world, to give back in the world. And how do I remember this story so well, even though it was, my first year of school ever, right? I don't remember much else from that year, but I really remember that part really well. And so, what's going on, Ash? What's going on, Donna? Thank you guys so much for giving there. Claire, how you doing? And so, how cool is that? Like what I really remembered was what we did as a class did to contribute back into the world, right? Another thing that I always remember is my mom would always, be sponsoring a child somewhere in the world, or maybe a few children somewhere in the world, and for me, I didn't really always understand it so well. I guess she didn't really explain it very well, but today I'm starting to understand this a lot better. But she at least gave me, I'm really happy for that. I'm really thankful that she gave me those principles of like, how can we give back? How can we sponsor a kid somewhere in the world? How can we, sponsor and some kind of environment and so on, right? And that's one of the things that I look at a little bit at the success of my business, and I'll get to that in one minute here as well. And a few years ago, I actually attended an event by a man named T. Harv Eker, and he wrote a book called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I highly recommend getting that book, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, by T. Harv Eker. But he has this seminar he puts on, which is like a 3-day seminar. You do like the arrow breaking on your neck. You do all kinds of things during that seminar. But it's really about teaching a lot of different principles of success. And one of the things he talks about there is the jar system. And in the jar system, I think he gives the percentages like 55% of your income should go to like necessities. Things like your rent, your food, all that stuff, right? And then he says like maybe 10% is for long-term savings, 10% is for your fun account, which is really cool. You got to spend it by the end of the month. And then he maybe gives 5 or 10% to the contribution account. And so I look at that, and I don't follow 100% the JAR system, but I still every month see how I can have some things in long-term savings, some things in investments, some things into putting back into the golden goose, which is the whatever business you have that's generating a passive income. And then also I have this contribution account, and part of what I do is I donate to malnourished children in Africa. And that's something that I'm really proud of, and that's something that our company does as part of what we do. And we always say it's 95% of who we are, but it's only 5% of what we do. But every month I go in and I look at my my back office, where I can see what our sales are like, our increase, our decrease, all these different things. But you can also see how many meals were actually donated to this organization throughout your whole organization. And last year, I was just super, super proud that I was every single day feeding about 1,000 kids. And to me, that's pretty incredible. Like, I mean, it's expensive to feed my 2 little ones downstairs, but to actually have 1,000 kids in Malawi that I'm indirectly kind of contributing to, well, directly as well, a lot, but indirectly contributing to. I mean, how cool is that? Like, I would have never thought I would have built a business that would be contributing that much to malnourished children, right? And so my challenge for all of you here with this thing here, with this call today, is it doesn't matter how much you have to start with. If you only making very, very, very little money in terms of your job or from your business, whatever it is, but take a small percentage of that, and every single month donate that to something that you feel a worthy cause, right? If you do that, I believe that by karma, the more we give, the more we get, right? It feels usually a lot better at Christmas to give presents than it does to get presents, right? And if you just use that principle in life in general, like giving, it just gives you back so much more. I believe that you're going to have way, way, way more success in not just life in terms of your business and making money, but just like how you feel every single day, right? You're going to feel so much better by just going out there and contributing to the world in some kind of a way. And so if you don't have that extra, whatever it is, $1, £1, €1, a month, whatever it is, like start there, like start as little as you want, some of you that are making good money, maybe 200, 300, 400 pounds a month, and some of you maybe even 1,000, 2,000 pounds a month. It just depends on how much you're making, right? So in my situation, I take 5% of what I make and I put it into partly that, but also partly I have a travel volunteer fund, which I'm saving money so that our family can go on these really fun volunteer tourism trips where we go somewhere and we help, maybe a family in Africa build a house or whatever else, right? And I'm really looking forward to that. And so as soon as Winston's maybe about 7 years old, that's what I want to start doing at least once or twice a year. Just take our family somewhere cool around the world where we also contribute back to that society in some kind of way. So I highly suggest for you to get started with that. That's my challenge to all of you today. Go out there and have an awesome Sunday and an awesome weekend here. And thank you so much for following. And I appreciate all of you write comments and are following. Thank you so much.